So along the way, man, I am radically left leaning, radically inclusive, and over the years, I think if I let me give you some metrics. Okay,
Mhm.
so I've been at St. John since 1992, and my dear friend Kirby John Caldwell actually gave my wife and I an opportunity as his assistants, not associates, but assistants at Windsor Village back in the early days, right?
Mhm.
So 92, he gets he gets an opportunity to take on a new location in downtown Houston. Well, from that moment, he gives me the keys and says, "Go check it out."
Mhm.
Well, I went and checked it out, and when I went to check it out, I said, "Hey, this is going to be great." So I get there on my first day. I drive up to in front of the building, and I get out my car and I look over behind the church, and there are probably 50 men, mostly men, some women, waiting on a meal from some missionary out of North Houston that came every Thursday evening. They're standing there, about 50 people, waiting on a meal behind a church that's closed. Okay, so I get there and I drive up and I pick up that big cell phone that I had in 90,
The
we
brick,
call
the
them
big brick.
mobile phone. Call my wife. I say, "Hey, baby, this is the place."
Hmm.
And what that really meant, Don, was I think I have finally arrived at the place I was born to serve.
Wow, it's powerful.
Yeah. So I walked through the door, man. There's a cat laying at the door. And as the story goes, and this is more the story, all of the folk laying at the door, we brought in with us. And they became, our security,
Wow.
and they
You
became
started with 9 people, right?
9 people. Yeah. Yeah.
Well, so for those that don't know and aren't familiar with Houston and with the church, so where St. John's is situated, it is under an underpass that is right at the border of downtown Houston and Midtown, and it is um, there's a homeless population that is in Houston that is literally next door. It is right outside of the front door of St. John's, and what Dr. Rudy has done is built up an entire infrastructure, in this area. They have the Bread of Life, and I read that you got, how many people do you think you're serving meals to, hot meals, and I think. I have so many questions about right now because I know that
Yeah.
this is a desperate time, and there's never been a bigger need for you to serve the community in that way. How what's the volume of people that you're serving through that charity?
So, so we started out serving hot meals in 92. And we basically served hot meals about 500 a day for about 22 years.
It's impressive.
And we're approaching year 29 now. But so 22 years, we served a lot of food, hot food, to a lot of hungry people. But what happened, Don? Demographics shifted in and around downtown, and in that demographic shift, we had something new to happen, and that is individuals with kitchens became a bigger sociological challenge than individuals who were hungry. So there were a lot of places for hungry people to eat, but not a lot of food for people with kitchens that didn't have any money.
Hmm.
So we shifted our mission from hot food to fresh groceries. So now, right now through this pandemic, we're seeing maybe 1,100 families a week that we're distributing 20 to 30 tons of food, actually fresh produce to, on a weekly basis, 2 times typically per week, or 2.5 times per week if we do another event off campus. So if we take all of the current activity that we're involved in, we are literally impacting thousands, multiple thousands of households on a weekly basis with basic necessities.
Hmm.
Now I'll tell you this, man. Since the beginning of the pandemic, since March, in our food line, we used to, for instance, serve, distribute the food hand to hand. You know, like
Hmm.
there'd be a long line of individuals, and those individuals would get a box. Now there's a long line of cars, and those cars get a box in their trunk. We do this contactless,
Yeah, much safer.
they're much safer distribution. And in that process, man, the one thing that I think your listeners and viewers should know, that is the model of the cars are getting newer every week.
I get it.